Bada boom, chillers fam in the room. How you doing? Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and make sure you guys hit that post notification bell so you guys never miss an episode of the Chill Report, because we are live every single weekday talking about the latest going on in sports. Now it's time to get to this video, man. Let's get it. Peyton Watson has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers in a massive 5-team sign and trade deal. As a part of the transaction, the 23-year-old forward agreed to a 4-year, $88 million contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers that features a player option and a trade kicker. The breakdown of the multi-team trade went like this. The Cleveland Cavaliers acquired Peyton Watson via sign and trade, and Cam Whitmore. The Denver Nuggets acquired an unprotected 2031 first-round pick from Cleveland, a 2032 second-round pick from Sacramento via Cleveland, and Julian Reese, who's expected to be waived. The Los Angeles Clippers acquired Max Strus from Cleveland. The Washington Wizards acquired Trey Mann, cash, and a 2027 second-round pick, and the Charlotte Hornets acquired Dennis Schroeder. Now, Watson, before this trade happened, obviously, was averaging 14.6 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks per game. He entered restricted free agency seeking a major payday, reportedly turning down a 5-year, $70 million extension offer from Denver earlier in this offseason. Because the Nuggets are heavily constrained by the NBA's luxury tax and the second apron rules, they couldn't match the $22 million annual salary that Cleveland put on the table. Denver ultimately chose to pivot and salvage future draft capital rather than lose him for nothing, completely destroy their cap flexibility. So they decided to trade him, or sign off on him being traded via sign and trade, to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Peyton Watson is now the newest Cav. This deal is one that I happen to love, as far as, at least for what the Cleveland Cavaliers were able to acquire. For what they were able to acquire, I love this deal, because the whole thing about their offseason this year was, number one, their focus was trying to go get LeBron James and trying to bring him back to Cleveland. That, obviously didn't pay off, as LeBron is in Philly as of now. So that didn't quite work out, but that was the plan, to go get LeBron and try to bring him back to Cleveland. But that didn't work out. So the pivot is, I feel like, the best pivot they could have went with, which is to go get a young phenom player like Peyton Watson, because I happen to love, I don't know how you guys feel about Peyton Watson, but allow me to say, I think Peyton Watson is one of the, how in the NBA you have like that, you have tiers of younger players. So you have like, your future superstars, that's your SGAs, your Wimbies, your people like that. I don't put Peyton Watson in that category, but he's in that, I guess you could say maybe like a tier below that. And what that is like that real carved a role out for himself type kind of player in the NBA. He's he's one of those younger, carved his role out, is going to get a lot of money in this NBA kind of player. He's going to be one of those type of players. He's going to be one of those players that, and he's getting there now, as you just seen. They paid 4 years, $88 million for him for a reason. But anyway, he's going to be one of those players that teams, especially contending teams, they are going to be craving to have as a player, because he brings so much to the team. Even if I know some people are more stat people than other people, but even beyond the stats, just his energy, his effort, his hustle, his passion, the stuff that he brings to your team, you can't pay for. You can't. It's not stuff that shows up on the stat sheet. Now, the stats are there as well. Once again, 14 points, 4 rebounds, and a block a game. So the stats are there, don't get me wrong. But just all the things that he provides a team, they really don't show up on a stat sheet. They really don't do him justice as far as on the stat sheet, as far as what he brings to a team. It's because you just have to watch him play to really understand his full value, if you understand what I mean. Some players are just like that. I feel like he's going to be a player like that in this NBA, a player that contending teams will freaking kill to have on their team because they want that energy, they want that hustle, they want that passion. And let's not, skip over this because you guys know I'm a huge proponent of veteran experience. Now, while you wouldn't rely on Peyton Watson to be a veteran because he's a younger player himself, here's the thing, though. He's been in the NBA for a while. And in his rookie season, he got to experience and witness being around a championship team with the Denver Nuggets. He got to experience, like being around, championship mentality, being around that championship aura, having to be around the team's energy as they go through the playoffs, seeing what the great players of the team, Jokic and Murray and KCP, people like that, seeing how they handled, approaching the playoffs, see how they handled approaching the regular season, see how they handled approaching big games and approaching big moments. He got to be a part of that. He got to witness that. And while, yes, it wasn't his time to shine yet, he didn't have a huge role to play in that finals, that the Denver Nuggets ended up winning. But he didn't play a big role. He didn't have, he wasn't a star. He wasn't the MVP. He wasn't nothing like that. But what he did have was he had the opportunity to experience being around a team that won a championship. And I don't care what nobody say. That is important. That's why teams will pay for players that win championships. I don't care if you were the last person on the bench. There is a team that will pay for you to come to their team just because you were around the championship environment. So something with you, something just because of you helped contribute to that championship. It just did. Whatever it was, it just helped contribute something to that team for them to win a championship. Now, whether it was a big impact or not, that's, neither here nor there, but you added something, whether it was you just on the bench doing this, whether it was your energy, whether it was your practice habits, whether it was your always going 100% even in practice, pushing other guys to be better, motivating the team, whatever it was, something about you being on that team. And I'm not saying this to, for anyone to get the big head and be like, any role player to be like, oh, well, see, if they wouldn't have won if it wasn't because of me. I'm not saying that, that's blasphemous. I wouldn't say that as far as a role player being like, oh, well, they couldn't have won without me because they needed me on. It's not like that. But something that player provided, something that player helped fuel that team to get to a championship. So something about Peyton Watson, like I said, not to make it seem like he's a star or anything like that, or that he played a star or MVP role in that finals. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is something about the way that he went about the game, something that he brought to that team, helped them win a championship. John Wall was talking about this on a podcast a while ago. Listen, if you win, everybody eats. If you win, everybody eats. It's just one of those rules. Whether you meant a lot, a little bit, if you win, everybody eats. No matter what, if you win, everybody eats. Players that, they didn't even play in the final, but you see them going to other teams getting paydays. If you win, everybody eats. So that's what Peyton Watson got to experience in his first year. Yeah, he wasn't an MVP. Yeah, he wasn't a star, but he got to be on the court. He got to experience what it was like to be in the playoff series, what it was like to experience winning a championship, what it was like to experience, different playoff matchups and how you have to scheme differently for playoff teams and how you got to switch up this from game to game and how you got to make this adjustment and shift that. And he got to be around great players, Hall of Fame players like Nikola Jokic, who will be a Hall of Famer at the end of his career. Great players like Jamal Murray, see how they approach the game. He got to learn all these different things. He got to be around the veteran presence of KCP. So he got that veteran presence. He got that veteran experience. He got that veteran leadership. So he had a chance to see and be around winning mentality players. He got to be around a winning aura, a winning energy. So now he knows what it's like to be around that. So he knows if Cleveland is slacking in one area, or if he feels like they can be better, or if he feels like that this is not championship level. He knows. Now, granted, he just got to the team, so he might not be in a situation where he says anything, where he kind of forces himself in a way to where be like, oh, well, yeah, we ain't good enough. We got to improve this. We got to improve that. We got to improve it. He might not say that because he just got to the team. And there's always a thing of, in my opinion, if you just got to a team, unless you're like a star player yourself, and I'm talking about a star as far as being like a LeBron, a KD, a Steph, a player like, if you're a player like that, or a player that has earned the right of that veteran experience over the years, unless you're a star player or a player that, like I said, has earned that veteran experience leadership role, like a Chris Paul, unless you're somebody like that, when you get to a new team, in my opinion, I'm not saying that you can't have your input, but I just think from the outside looking in, kind of like how you handle yourself around, like when you go to a new job or a new environment, kind of, fill out the environment first, let them get familiar with you, and then then you start, let me add a little bit of input, you know what I'm saying? Let me add this in. Okay, let me start getting more comfortable. All right, let me say this. Okay, they rocking with me now. Okay, let me say this. Okay, let me add this little advice in there. But don't come to the team first, Peyton Watson, and be like, we need to improve on this, we need to improve on that, we need to improve on that, because then players gonna be like, whoa, you just got here, brother. Like, you just got here, and this is not even your team, so it's going to lead to a whole lot of controversy in that aspect if you do go about it that way. But what I'm saying is, as the season goes on, Peyton Watson knows, hey, if this is, we can probably improve on these areas. Hey, I think we can improve defensively. I think we can improve on rebounding, and rebounding will help our defense. And if we improve on that, then that'll help us win more games. So he knows, and just, he don't even have to say it, but just him adding his energy to it. So, hey, we need somebody to help on rebounds. Let me, use my talent and my ability. Let me take over the rebounds. Let me start grabbing more rebounds. Let me start doing this. He knows what it's like to be around a championship team and what it takes to win at that level. So he knows different things. He knows how to go about different things and approach different things. So he's just going to make the Cleveland Cavaliers that much better because the Cavs are in their window of trying to win a championship. His experience, his not leadership, but his experience, what he's seen, what he's been a part of, can help them get to their ultimate goal of winning a championship if they can ultimately get it done. So I think it was a great move to go get him. I think it was a great pivot for what it was a great pivot from, them wanting LeBron, but them obviously not being able to secure LeBron this year. It was a great pivot to go get a young defensive player, I consider Peyton Watson like an all-around defensive, just freaking phenom of a player. Like, he's just that kind of player. So I consider him like that. So it was a great pivot for them to go get him. He's young, he's explosive, he's great defensively. He don't have a problem giving, like I say, his energy, his hustle, his passion. He doesn't have a problem not scoring. He doesn't have a problem not being a part of the primary offense or not getting shots or not getting it. He just goes to work, and whatever the team needs for him to win or from him to win, he's willing to do. So he's one of those players. So I felt like it was a great move for them to go get Peyton Watson. Now, the other addition that I feel like they will benefit tremendously from is the addition of Cam Whitmore, because I was a huge Cam Whitmore fan coming out of the draft. I wanted the Lakers to draft him. I'm just going to let y'all know that now. I wanted the Lakers to draft him. But, we chose Jalen Hood-Schifino. I'm not going to comment on that right now. But, hey, I thought he was a great player coming out of the draft. I think he still has talent. I think he's still able to be very good. And what I feel like he'll add to the team is that extra ability, like for that fire starter role. What I mean by that is, off the bench, he'll have that potential to be like that Jordan Clarkson off the bench, that person that you expect to just have that spark off the bench. Like, it don't have to be every game. It don't got to be every game. But what will happen was, or if everything goes, how they planned it to go, what'll happen is, not every game, but in games where the offense ain't really doing what it need to do, or even if it is, when the bench comes in the game, Cam Whitmore will take on that role of being like, okay, when the bench comes in the game, you pretty much got your own unit, bro. So take off. Like, you pretty much got your own unit. Do your thing. Score your points. That's when you get your numbers. Get your numbers, score your points, be that spark off the bench, control the other unit, make sure that the offense doesn't fall off when the starters are not on the court. When Donovan Mitchell ain't on the court, when Peyton Watson ain't on the court, James Harden ain't on the court, make sure that the offense continues to keep flowing, keep scoring points. If we have a 10-point lead, make sure we're still leading when the starters come back in the game. That will be Cam Whitmore's role, and I think he's going to shine in that role in Cleveland. Now, will it take a while for him to get going? I feel like it will, because he'll have to get used to the system and how, the Cleveland offense is, how the players around him flow. And he hasn't, been, I guess you say, world, record breaking or anything so far in his career. But I feel like this is the chance if he really is about what I think he is. If he really has that potential that I think he has, this is going to be his chance to show it, because he's going to have a lot of opportunities, especially with Cleveland Cavaliers being in the position that they are now. They have a younger core, with them going to get Peyton Watson. They have pretty much a young team overall. He's going to have a chance to really shine in his role off the bench here. So if he's really, about that action, if you will, this is going to be his one chance to show the NBA that, okay, yeah, he's ready now. This is going to be his one chance, because he's had a couple opportunities with the Rockets and Washington and stuff, and he's had some good moments there, but this is going to be on a stage to where he wants to shine, because it's a grand enough stage to where Cleveland is a contending team. So it's a grand stage to where if you perform well here, the bag is on the way. If you perform well here, the bag is on the way. And especially what this will show is that he has mastered his role, if you will. So if he shines off the bench in Cleveland, what that'll show other teams is, okay, we can pay him to be that spark off the bench or that scoring threat that we need just whenever we need it, because he's carved out his role in the NBA as far as being able to score, being able to be that spark, being able to provide offense when we need it out of nowhere. If the offense is dwelling, we know we can go to Cam and he can provide these points in this role. So that's what he'll provide. That's what he'll show other teams that he can do if he flourishes in this role, like I feel like he can. So I feel like it was a great addition for them to go get Cam as well. The blockbuster addition was them going to get Watson, but Cam Whitmore, I feel like he has the chance to really get the bag this next offseason. If he shines in this whole situation, he got a chance to get a nice payday next offseason. So take this opportunity seriously, honestly. Now, as far as Denver, it's not looking good, because Peyton Watson meant so much to that team in my view. It's not looking good as far as them being able to go win a championship. It's not looking good. Peyton Watson, I feel like, needed to be on that team for them to be a contender. No, I'm not going to say that, but for them to consider winning a championship, I felt like they needed the energy, the hustle, the passion, the ability to do anything to win along with his talent. I feel like they needed a Peyton Watson on that team. So him not being there, all of their hopes and all of their dreams as far as being a championship contender, it's going to have to hinge on one thing, and that is, it's going to have to hinge on them going to get DeMar DeRozan. It's going to have to hinge on them going to get DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is going to have to be the guy for Denver to go get it done. I don't care what Denver got to pay for him. I don't care if you got to go over the tax, whatever. It's worth it. If you want to talk about winning a championship this year, Denver, I'm telling you, I know he's older, but I'm telling you, your best chance of that is go ahead and go over the tax if you got to. Just do what you got to do. Go get DeMar DeRozan. What he will provide to the Nuggets is he will provide that consistent, constant rock of offense that will always be there when you need it. We already know DeMar DeRozan is the mid-range assassin. The Denver Nuggets will need that if they talk about winning the championship. They're going to need that constant rock of offense that they always can go to. DeMar DeRozan is that guy. We all know he's the mid-range assassin, but also, let's be real, he's not necessarily a lackey or not like he's not a deficit from the three-point line. He's great. He's good offensively all around. His game is the mid-range game. He's a mid-range assassin. But let's be real, DeMar DeRozan knows how to score and get it out the mud regardless. He knows how to score I'm talking from mid-range, 3-point, going to the paint, whatever. He's a great scorer. He knows how to get offense going. He knows how to do it regardless. So he's just his bread and butter is the mid-range game. But they're gonna need that rock that's not named Jamal Murray, that's not named Nikola Jokic, that they can rely on and that they can count on whenever they need a bucket, whenever they need to have it. They gotta have it. Pause. Whenever they need that to happen, DeMar DeRozan has the potential and will be, if they go get him, will be that rock of offense that they need. And he can be that threat that, okay, if Jamal Murray has an off game, even if Jokic have an off game, he will be that guy, DeMar DeRozan. Now, I'm not gonna say they win a lot of games like this, but it can happen. If Jokic or Murray has an off game, whoever is playing alongside, whoever is on and the other star is off, because they have two stars, right? Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. If Murray is off, Nikola Jokic and DeMar DeRozan can go win you a game. As far as offense is concerned, they can go win you a game. They can score consistently enough for you to win that game. If Jokic is not, because Jokic ain't never going to have an off game to where he's just not doing nothing. That ain't never going to happen. But if he's having a game where he's not necessarily scoring as much as you would like him to, Murray and DeRozan, along with Jokic passing and Jokic just constant threat of just being Jokic, they can win you a game. Murray and DeRozan can win you a game. So that's what he'll provide. So pay whatever you got to go pay. Go over the tax, whatever. Go pay whatever you got to pay to DeMar DeRozan to get him in Denver if you want to be serious about contending. Well, contending as far as a championship, because they're going to be contenders as long as Jokic is out there. So as long as Jokic is on the court, they're going to be contenders. But contending for a championship, your best chance of that is going to get DeMar DeRozan and paying him what he wants to bring him to Denver. That's your best chance. But I love this trade overall. I'm happy for Cam Whitmore that he got his extension. I'm glad he got his money. Y'all already know about everybody getting a bag. So the fact that he got this deal, I'm super excited for him. I can't wait to see what he does in Cleveland. I'm excited for Cam Whitmore. Like I said, I'm a huge Cam Whitmore fan. Like I said, he hasn't really lived up to what you say expectations were of him coming out of the draft. But I feel like if there is a chance for him to shine, and like I said, line himself up for a very nice payday, shine in this role off the bench offensively for Cleveland, because that's what I feel like they're going to have him do. I feel like Cam's role is going to be, in my opinion, more like this. Cam's role is going to be that kind of Dennis Schroeder role, meaning when you come in off the bench, take off, do your thing offensively, go score 16 points if you can, 15 points if you can, just keep the offense going. Do whatever you have to do to keep the offense going. If that's playing offense and just kind of facilitating, if that's playing defense and facilitating and scoring, if that's just scoring for this game, whatever. Keep the offense flowing so when the starters get back in the game, it's like, okay, we still good. Basically, his role is going to be this. When the starters go off the court, if the Cavs have a 10-point lead, make sure they still have at least a 5-point lead when the starters come back in. That's going to be Cam Whitmore's role, in my opinion. That's how I feel like he best be suited. And if he shines in that role offensively and shines in that role of being able to be a nice, consistent manager of the offense as far as being able to control the pace when the starters aren't on the court, he'll line himself up for not a max contract, not a mega super extension or nothing like that, obviously. But he can line himself up for a very nice payday next offseason, because a lot of teams want that role filled on their team. Pause. They want a spark off the bench that they can rely on to keep the offense on the bench rolling when the starters are off the court. A lot of teams need that, and a lot of teams are pursuing that. And Cam Whitmore putting his bid out there to be that guy will line him up to get a very nice payday next offseason. So I feel like that would be great. But the starting lineup I feel like they'll go with will be James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Peyton Watson, Evan Mobley, and then Jared Allen. That's how I feel like their starting lineup will be. And if that's the starting lineup, I don't see a reason why Cleveland can't be competitive at least with every single team in the NBA. Because that team can beat a lot of teams, but even if they don't win, they're going to be competitive with like every team they play. Every single team they play, they're going to be competitive. For sure. Every single team they play. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it lines up. Huge shout out to Cleveland for being able to pivot so beautifully because, you know, they lost out on LeBron, but they were able to pivot beautifully and turn to Peyton Watson. So huge shout out to them. I can't wait to see how this Cleveland team, you know, ends up shaping up. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how it goes. You know, it's going to be, I feel like, a very interesting season for the Cleveland Cavaliers and for the East in general. I mean, LeBron James is a 76er, so that's going to be very interesting. But we're going to see how it all lines up, man. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments below. But with that being said, man, your boy Chill is out, man. Peace.